If you've ever wanted a clear vocal chain in FL Studio, but you had no idea how to create it, this video, I'll guide you step by step in how to do this with only stock plugins. We used one Waves plugin, but that was only because of my microphone. So let's hop into FL Studio. So the vocal chain, here's the before. Let's play the before.
The land, watch me weave through traffic. Dodger fitted on with my V-suit jacket. Don't get hyped, don't believe the madness. What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip-hop, the West took it back again.
All right, now let's run that back with the effects on.
The land, watch me weave through traffic. Dodger fitted on with my V-suit jacket. Don't get hyped, don't believe the madness. What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip-hop, the West took it back again.
So that was a very aggressive type of sound, but it's clear. Okay, so the first plugin we're using is Waves NS1. This is only because of my microphone specifically, has a little buzz and background noise. But this is a great plugin that I use all the time, even on my mic right now. If I turn this off, you know, you guys can hear a lot of background noise. So this helps suppress some of the background noise. All right, so that's, you know, a great plugin to have in general. But the first technical plugin after that plugin is an EQ. Now, these EQs can work. It's just dialing it in is not the easiest thing in the world. So that is where I had to basically, I mixed these vocals in a separate DAW, Logic, and I translated what I did in Logic over to FL. It was a little bit easier to dial stuff in Logic, whereas FL, it was not as easy. So every vocal is completely different. I'm going to go over the concepts for this vocal, and you guys will get these vocal templates for free. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. But the concept here is that we're removing rumble with this high pass filter here. We're removing rumble below 80 Hertz usually. In this case, we removed it from a higher amount below. And this is at, you know, pretty steep curvature here. The second decision I made was to take out what's called the second harmonic.
The land, watch me.
That usually is where all the mud is created in that second order harmonic. Basically, if you look at audio like little hills,
The land, watch me weave through traffic.
I'm targeting that second hill. Okay, so that's kind of where stuff happens.
The land, watch me.
So don't try to copy these numbers. It won't make sense for your vocal. Every vocal is completely different. So copying these won't make any sense. I'm giving you principles, guys. All right, so we're using a high pass filter for this vocal. We're boosting up a little bit the fundamental frequency, and then we're cutting the second harmonic, and then we're creating this like linear boost in a way, but it's kind of fading down as we go higher for the third and fourth harmonic. Okay, around 600. Then around 1200, I think there was like this nasally tone, if I remember correctly.
The land, watch me weave through traffic. Dodger fit.
Almost like this telephone effect. So we just pulled that out at around 1200 Hertz. And then at 3700, this is where the harshness was.
The land, watch me weave through traffic. Dodger fitted on with.
Now these frequencies by themselves sound aggressive, but in context, you know, sometimes they don't always sound that aggressive. So when you pull out these frequencies, understand it will completely change the tone of your vocal. So it's a whole different thing at that point.
The land, watch me weave through traffic. Dodger fitted on with.
So if I turn this off,
The land, watch me weave through traffic. Dodger fitted on with my V-suit jacket. Don't get hyped, don't believe the madness. What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking.
so it just takes out some of that rumble that was in the microphone and just tightens up some of the aggressive tones. So as you see, it didn't make a huge difference, that EQ. Now the second EQ, we're just boosting because basically when it comes to signal flow, you want to control the dynamics. Here's one thing I got to explain before we get too deep into this. I'm showing you guys, you know, something after I've made all these push-pull decisions. So seeing it linear like this is not how I was thinking of it. So I just want to make sure you guys understand my thought process. So the first plugin was a gate plugin that helps take out background noise. That's from Waves. Second plugin was an EQ to address some of the flaws in my vocal recording. Now, if I had a better recording, I wouldn't have to do all this. So it was because I had background rumble and all this stuff. So we had adjusted some of those frequencies there. Now the second EQ is boosting the high frequencies. This thing you see on the far left, this gain, is simply because later in the mixing process, I wanted to push harder into the compressors. So this decision did not come till very, very much later. So it normally looked like this. Okay. But what we're going to do is paste this just so everything is cohesive. So we're pushing the volume into the next plugin, which is a compressor. So my compressors usually start at -20 dB per octave. 2-to-1 ratio is very soft. 4-to-1 is when I want it to really hold on to the vocal. I usually keep my attack around 30 milliseconds. My release time, I usually keep it around 0 or the lowest value. Here I have it a little bit longer just because we have a group of vocals and I was just dialing in tone. And the style compressor here is the medium R, okay? So let's turn this on and off. Again, it's gonna sound crazy because we don't have volume adjustment.
The land, watch me weave through traffic, dodging fitted on with my V-suit jacket. Don't get hyped, don't believe the madness. What we doing right here?
It just feels like the vocal's very jumpy. It's like, it feels very like that.
The land, watch me weave through traffic, dodging fitted on with my V-suit jacket. Don't get hyped, don't believe the madness.
Now let's turn on this compressor.
The land, watch me weave through traffic, dodging fitted on with my V-suit jacket.
See how it clamps down and it makes everything cohesive, so it's not like now it's like sitting my alone on my V-suit jacket. It's like linear now.
The land, watch me weave through traffic, dodging fitted on with my V-suit jacket. Don't get hyped, don't believe the madness.
Now this compressor, you just have to go by ear. There's no visual for it. Now we have another compressor. This compressor has a faster attack and it has a faster release, but it's a more gentle compressor, 2-to-1 ratio, and it's on soft mode. So again, we could turn this on and off just to hear.
The land, watch me weave through traffic, dodging fitted on with my V-suit jacket.
Listen to how the audio jumps out. My soul, my feet, like it jumps out at you.
The land, watch me weave through traffic, dodging fitted on with my V-suit jacket.
Now let's add this compressor.
The land, watch me weave through traffic, dodging fitted on with my V-suit jacket.
It just tames some of that my soul, my feet, like where it's throwing the sound at you.
The land, watch me weave through traffic, dodging fitted on with my V-suit jacket. Don't get the land, watch me weave through.
Here's without it.
The land, watch me weave through traffic, dodging fitted on with my. The land, watch me weave through traffic, dodging fitted on with my V-suit jacket. Don't get hyped.
All right, so that is more subtle, but it just is taming some of the structure of that vocal. Now the next plugin is the Fruity Limiter. I'm not using this as a limiter. We're on compressor mode, and I'm setting the ratio to the left, which is basically expansion. And what I do is I turn the sustain up so that basically the root mean squared. Basically, if you turn this to the right, it's aiming for less of the peaks and more of the overall loudness of the sound. So the more you turn the sustain knob up, the more it basically holds that vocal, okay, in place. So my goal is to pull the attack up to about 30 milliseconds because I want the transient to come through, and then I want the volume to be boosted so that it's more of a linear vocal. My goal here is to make the vocal a little more linear and less jumpy. So what I'm doing is just adding the glue in between, some of the cement in between the transient and the tail end of the vocal by boosting it using an expander.
The land, watch me weave through traffic, dodging fitted on with my V-suit jacket. Don't get hyped, don't believe the madness.
So let's hear it without. Just listen to the linearity of the vocal.
The land, watch me weave through.
So let's turn it without.
The land, watch me weave through traffic, dodging fitted on with my V-suit jacket. Don't get hyped, don't believe the madness. What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip-hop, the West took it back again.
Let's run that back with.
The land, watch me weave through traffic, dodging fitted on with my V-suit jacket. Don't get hyped, don't believe the madness. What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip-hop, the West took it back again.
So see how it was more linear and it felt very like there was like a dimension to it, okay? Because we're boosting up the volume, so the volume doesn't fade. Now, again, in Logic Pro, this EQ is a lot easier to make. In FL, I really had to go in and tweak this. So again, when you're using these tools, it's not as intuitive to make shapes like this. Okay, so you can just understand the concepts here. We're taking out around 500.
The land, watch me weave through.
And I think this is on side mode, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, this is, okay. So this is on the mid signal.
The land, watch.
We're viewing the mid signal.
The land, watch me weave through traffic, dodging.
And I'm taking out 500 and 700 and 3K. Really just to get rid of tones I didn't like. So here's without.
The land, watch me weave through traffic.
So it's shooting in the land, like that tone.
The land, watch me weave through traffic, dodging fitted on with my V-suit jacket. Don't get hyped, don't believe the madness. What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking.
Now, if you like that tone, you like that tone. But what I did was I just took out some of that boxiness. The boxiness of kicks and vocals can be found around 500. That's where that boxy tone comes in, and then that nasally kind of. Let me boost this so you guys can hear.
The land, watch.
And let's turn it on.
The land, watch me weave through traffic. Dodger fitted on with my V-suit jacket.
The hollowness sound
The land, watch me
is around 700. That's usually where an annoying frequency is most of the time. 700, 800. So we have 500 taking out the boxiness, so it doesn't feel like a box. And then 3K is taking out, again, more harshness.
The land, watch me weave through traffic. Dodger fitted on with my
because it makes it sound metallic on the mic. So without it,
The land, watch me weave through traffic. Dodger fitted on with my V-suit jacket.
here's with it.
The land, watch me weave through traffic. Dodger fitted on with my V-suit jacket.
So just shaping some of the tones. Now the next plugin took me a while to really understand how to use it because I just am not a fan of how you have to do compression, which is through this curvature here. Thinking of compression in a curvature way is a weird way to think about compression. You guys can just copy my settings. On the low, I have mine set to 2.25%. You can read the value in the top left there. On my mid, I have this set to 3% curvature, meaning you left click and you drag this until it says a percentage. And then this one's set to 3% as well. It's a little pre-gain on the highs. Basically, anytime I boosted the pre-gain on any of these sections, I'm also compensating by turning down the post level. My goal is to create more of a smacky tone with this multi-band compressor. So this one makes a dramatic difference. Here's before.
The land, watch me weave through traffic. Dodger fitted on with my V-suit jacket. Don't get hyped, don't believe the madness. What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood,
Here's with
fresh
it.
from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip-hop, the West took it back again. The land, watch me weave through traffic. Dodger fitted on with my V-suit jacket. Don't get hyped, don't believe the madness. What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown.
So this is creating a lot more linearity, and it's also adding a smackiness and an aggression to the vocal. So you guys can dial that in the way you like, but those are the settings I used. Again, that one, I normally stay away from this plugin because it has a natural boxy tone to it that I don't like.
The land, watch.
But like I said, you can get pretty decent results with FL stock plugins, but when you're using these plugins, it's really hard to dial it in. I had to, like I said, I had to basically use Logic Pro and translate all my settings over to FL. The next plugin here is actually a Waves plugin, so I stand corrected. There's 2 Waves plugins here because FL does not come with a de-esser by default. I think it's hidden somewhere in a patcher preset that I don't feel like going through. So we're just going to use Waves de-esser, and I have this set to male S. S's are S's, you know, whether it's female or male. S is a noise concentrated around like 8K usually. So we just have that, you know,
The land, watch me weave through traffic.
just taking care of some of the sibilants, not going crazy with that. And lastly, we're running the vocal into the emphasizer, which is their smaller limiter. It's just a smaller, compact version of it. And I'm pushing this until we see gain
The
reduction.
land, watch me weave through traffic. Dodger fitted on with my V-suit jacket.
So we shouldn't see a ton of gain reduction because that's when we're probably going to add distortion to the vocal. Our goal is just to make sure that we're getting it loud without going past 0.
The land, watch me weave through traffic. Dodger fitted on with my V-suit jacket. Don't get hyped, don't believe the madness. What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking.
All right, now let's do it in order as if I thought of all these plugins in order. Now, again, in real time, I was not thinking of these plugins in this order. I want to be very transparent about that. Mixing is a push-pull. You do something, you change something, you go back, you make something more aggressive. It's a morphing thing. There's not this like, do this every single time and you're always going to get the same results. That's not how you mix vocals. Again, if you guys want these vocals, this vocal template, go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. We have a new hip hop mixing course that covers the vocal chain. It covers how to mix your entire beat. It's run by Crispy Akiyama. You guys can find it at busyworksbeats.com/hip hop mixing. I'll leave that link below. It's a really crazy course because he taught me something in the first 20 minutes about vocals that I was actually shocked. There was multiple things. He puts me onto a lot of stuff. So he's a really, really, really well done educator. And he has a new course, busyworksbeats.com/ what did I say? Hip hop. Now I forgot the link. I think it's hip hop mixing. Busyworksbeats.com/ let me go to the page. Hold on. Yeah. So the link is busyworksbeats.com/hip hop mixing. He guides you through how he mixed this entire record with vocals, with hip hop beat. Here's the before on the left.
Yeah. Akiyama, what up? Alexander Malik. Hey, Lil, this how you do it in the studio. Try it. Let me show you real quick.
So it sounds pretty good. So he shows you how to take something that sounds good and makes it even better. Here's after his mixing.
This how you do it in the studio. Let me show you real quick. You gotta have motion to be a part of this inner circle. She gon' grab the stack and count it all while I roll this purple. I be talking shit, yeah, you know that these words are hurt.
So it adds way more dimension, way more glue. So again, Crispy is crazy with the mixing. So again, go to busyworksbeats.com/hip hop mixing. You guys can find this brand new course there. So that's the link there. All right, and let's go one by one through these plugins here. So the first one is the
watch me weave through traffic.
Background remover.
Fitted on with my V-suit jacket. Don't get hyped.
Now this plugin will make your vocals a little bit darker. Okay, so that's probably why I compensated with this second EQ.
Watch me weave
And now it's at the first EQ.
Dodger fitted on with my V-suit jacket. Don't get hyped, don't believe the madness. What we doing right here is magic. Out the
now it's
hood,
at the bright
fresh from
EQ.
a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip-hop, the West took it back
Got
again.
our first compressor.
In a low rider, gold dating spokes by it's me. I'm the ghost rider, more paper, more fire.
Got the second compressor.
Under the empire. And I'm up chasing dough like I'm in the land. Watch me weave through traffic.
Let's add our fruity limiter for the expansion.
Jacket. Don't get hyped, don't believe the madness. What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood.
Next, let's add our corrective EQ.
Trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip hop, the West took it back.
It made the vocals a little bit darker.
In a low rider, gold dating spokes.
Now let's add the multiband compressor.
Rider, more paper, more fire. But it's one nation under the empire. And I'm up chasing dough like I'm in the land.
Adds a small amount of saturation. I can hear it.
Dodger fitted on with my V-suit jacket.
Let's add the de-esser.
Don't get hyped, don't believe the madness. What we doing right here
and then
is
let's add the
magic.
limiter there.
Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking.
And then let's go back to the EQ and add the gain back.
African, the South took hip hop, the West took it back again. In a low rider, gold dating spokes by it's me. I'm the ghost rider, more paper, more fire. But it's one nation under the empire. And I'm up chasing dough like I'm in the land. Watch me weave through traffic. Dodger fitted on with my V-suit jacket. Don't get hyped, don't believe the madness. What we doing right here is magic. Out the hood, fresh from a lot of the trafficking.
And again, if it's too bright, we could just pull on the de-esser, or we could just tame the highs with an EQ. So that is a chain. That's one of the many chains for you guys. And I have Logic Pro templates for you guys too. So it's Logic Pro and FL Studio vocal templates. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. Thank you guys for watching. Again, go to busyworksbeats.com/hip hop mixing. I'll leave the link below for the new mixing course that Crispy's teaching, specifically about hip hop mixing. All right, y'all. Peace.